All right, everyone, welcome and thank you for coming to our FCA All Abilities Camp training. Let's hop on in. So, for this training, our goals are we want to familiarize all of our volunteers with their roles and responsibilities throughout camp. We want you to know what to expect and just some useful strategies. We'll first go over what FCA is and some camp basics. We want you to know the role of volunteers. We'll then go over specific camp activities and some safety concerns. All right, are you ready? Let's hop on into some basics. What is FCA? FCA stands for Fellowship of Christian Athletes. We are a global ministry that exists to see the world transformed by Jesus Christ through the influence of coaches and athletes. The Hall of Fame area serves 4 counties, Stark, Wayne, Tusk, and Ashland County, but you'll see campers from all around Northeast Ohio. The purpose of this All Abilities Camp, we have 3 main purposes. We want our campers to have unlimited fun. We want them to see smiles on their faces and just have a good time. We want them to feel the unconditional love that only God can provide, but we can show them at camp. And then hear the gospel message that we know truly transforms hearts and minds. All right, let's go over the basics of camp. So obviously the date changes year to year, but if you want to check your calendar for the current year of what the specific date is for the All Abilities Camp in the Hall of Fame area. Hall of Fame area has a camp every year at Malone University, which the address is here provided. And our camp has about 75 or more campers. All of them are above the 5 years old or older, and with all different ranges of disabilities. Different activities that our All Abilities Camp has are soccer, football, baseball or softball, fitness, and an obstacle course. All right, let's go over some camp schedules. So let me get my pencil out here. On day 1, which is Friday, all volunteers will show up around 4 o'clock. This allows us to do proper check-ins, give assignments, and make sure you have your t-shirts and everything ready. Around 4:30, we will do a pre-camp huddle where we'll go over expectations and pray and prepare for camp. And then at 4:45, this is when campers start showing up. At 4:30, camp begins with a welcome meeting. We will be all together as a camp and welcome everyone, just get us started. There will be some stretching and warming up. And then this is where around 5:50, where you will we will rotate to different sports stations. A little after 7 is when you'll wind down and do our spiritual lessons. We'll break up into small group huddles and have some discussions. At 7:40, our camp will end. All volunteers will come together right after that for a post-camp huddle to just go over things for the next day, any questions that you had after seeing camp that first day, and then we will tear down all together. Day 2 will look very similar in the sense that we ask the volunteers come a little bit before so we can check them in and make sure that everyone is here and has their proper assignments. And then we will do a pre-camp huddle again, and then campers start arriving at 9 o'clock. We will again start with a welcome meeting all together, stretch and warm up, and then at 10:10, we'll do again our rotations, and we will talk more about that in a little bit. We'll wind down and camp. The sports part of our camp ends around noon. We will then walk over the other side of campus to our awards banquet, which we will talk more about on another slide, and that usually ends around 2 o'clock. And then we will tear down camp. Okay, campus map. So this, you will enter through Cleveland Avenue, and you'll come, the first parking lot on your left right here is the Johnson Center. It's the big chapel. It's a huge parking lot. There is a little trail here. It's not on the map, but you'll definitely see it when you get there. There's a little trail here that leads to another paved path. So a little paved path here that leads us to this field. And so you'll see lots of signs and tents that lead you in the right direction. And so all volunteers and campers will check in at the check-in tables. This is where you'll get your t-shirts and your assignments and make sure all paperwork is filled out. And then we will walk to the field. This is where camp is happening. We'll go over that on the next slide. Just so you're aware of the other things that are going on at camp, down this path here is another parking lot where the parents will be able to watch camp from up high. It's a really nice view. And then there's a little bit of a respite room for them and volunteers if they need it throughout the day. And so down here, though, I know that most universities, this might look like a huge walk away, but it's not too far. Over here is where we're going to have the banquet and luncheon portion at Osborne Hall Malone University's gymnasium. So on the field, this is what this will look like. We've divided the field in half. You'll see here with this dividing line. And so on the left-hand side, coming into the field, will be where our younger kids will be. On the older campers will be on the right side of the field. We will have 4 stations set up on each side with different activities, and we will rotate to them. So for example, if you start off at station 3 with soccer, there will be a group of about 8 campers. And so 8 campers will play soccer at the station for 15 minutes, and then we'll rotate to the fitness station, and then we'll go to the fitness station for 15 minutes and then rotate to football. And so we will have all of that organized for you of what happens at all those stations. And we'll go over that in a little bit, but just so you know how the field will look and how it'll be set up. You'll also notice around the field, there will be some water stations where you can fill up water bottles and a tent where maybe your camper can cool off. And then in this corner is where we're going to have a sensory tent where campers that might just need a break for a little bit, we'll be able to go to the tent on this end. All right, let's hop to the next part, which is roles of volunteers. So there's different types of volunteers, and we will get into what each of those look like, but we're going to have, you will either be a buddy. We also have station leaders and helpers. So you guys saw those stations on the last slide. We will have leaders at all of those, floaters, and then we have our nurses and general camp staff. So a good coach, volunteer, we want volunteers to be a good friend to our campers, a motivator and encourager. Encourager is such a big thing when working with campers with disabilities. Very patient and flexible, and then attentive to lots of needs, caring, and a good communicator. All right, these are some basic volunteer expectations that our staff has. That we ask that all volunteers please show up on time. We ask that you stay with your camper at all times. Safety is really important to us, and that you focus on the camper experience while at camps. That we are camper focused. We want our camper to have a great time. If we remember back to our goals of them, unconditional love, having so much fun, and hearing the gospel message. So we want to focus on their experience. Don't be afraid to ask other volunteers for help. We are all here to help each other. And one of our main core values at FCA is teamwork. And so let's work as a team. Do your best not to take things personally and help with setup and cleanup. Again, we'll come back to the teamwork. Attend the pre and post camp huddles. It's just short 15 minutes before and after camp. And then attend the awards banquet to cheer on your camper. So just a word on phones and social media. So while at camp, please do your best to unplug from your phones and plug into camp. Our primary goal is to love campers. There will be photographers that are taking lots of pictures. So there's no need for, you have your phone out taking lots of pictures. We have photographers there that will be doing that. And honestly, I think that we all know that people feel more loved when you are face to face with them, not your face in your phone. So you can just unplug from those things and just really focus on the camper and experience in the couple hours that we are there together. All right, what you can bring to camp. So please bring comfortable shoes and athletic wear. This is a sports camp, so you're going to be running around. It's summertime, probably going to be hot. So just make sure to wear the proper gear that you feel comfortable in doing lots of athletic activities and with your camper. We will provide you with a t-shirt. This color this year is blue, but it will change year to year. But this, you will receive a volunteer t-shirt that you will wear both days. So what to expect when you arrive at camp. So like we talked about, when you pull into that Johnson Center parking lot early to camp. So we ask again 30 to 45 minutes prior to the start of camper check-in. You'll check in at the volunteer table. That's where you'll get your t-shirt. You'll make sure all the proper paperwork is filled out, and you'll get your assignments. Once you receive your marching orders, assignments, you will attend the pre-camp huddle. We've talked lots about this already. And then we'll execute the marching orders. Camp will start. All right, after camp, make sure that your camper is paired up with a parent or guardian. And then we, again, come back to that teamwork. We could all help clean up. And then there's going to be a post camp huddle for a debriefing. And then these two things. So on Friday after camp, we're going to have all buddies write notes to their camper. This is such a special piece of the All Abilities Camp globally that just the campers really, really love. It's a great experience for them to get a letter from their buddy. And then Saturday, we just ask that all volunteers find their camper and their table at the awards luncheon. Just again, a very special part that makes the camper feel so special and loved, and a great way to end the weekend. So, a little bit more about the luncheon. It is, again, right after camp, around noon. You will walk into the gymnasium and there will be a table set up where you can get an award for your camper and you will take it to your table. We ask that you choose a table that your camper and his or her family are sitting at. Again, more of that connection, personal relationship. It really makes them feel loved and cared for. This is located at Osborne Hall at Malone University, so just across the other side of campus. And then during this time, this is where we'll give camper their awards and the note that you wrote, and we will eat lunch together that's provided by ABI, which we are so thankful for. All right, let's get into some specific activities. So at these stations that we talked about, we're going to have one of them be soccer. Then we will have another football station, baseball and softball, and then like a fitness obstacle course station. Now these will be adapted by age range, and we will have station leaders. We have wonderful volunteers and community partners that have really helped us to make sure that we have the proper equipment and activities that will best suit the camper environment. And so those will be set up for us. But just to give you an idea of what each station will generally have at them. So if you are a buddy, you will be paired with a camper. That will be your person for the weekend to really love on and care for, make sure they have an enjoyable time. We ask that you are a friend and a protector. Again, we will reemphasize this. Our safety is so important to us. We want our campers and families to feel safe. You are a training partner and a behavior model, a mentor, and a liaison to the parents, coaches, and peers. So if you are a station helper, that means you are not paired with a buddy. You are set at a station, whether it looks like this is a football station. So let's use that as an example. If you are a station leader at the football station, you will help facilitate those activities there. You will be saying, hey, let's do this game, this activity, or why don't you do this with this football, or hey, kick it into this goal. And so you will really be helping to facilitate what happens during those 15 minutes at each station. And we also ask that you help assist the buddies and campers as needed. So you're really just a helper there as well. Now we are going to need some floaters at camp, and it's the most generic volunteer position because you could be doing anything that our camp staff needs, whether that's, hey, this buddy needs a restroom break, can you cover for them for a minute? Or, hey, the nurse's station needs water filled up, can you help with that? Just different ways that you can kind of help around camp. We'll need a few floaters to really help make camp possible. So let's hop into some safety and other concerns. We talked about how we'll have a nurse's station, and when to notify the nurse is when you see there might be some heat exhaustion, obviously seizures, anaphylaxis, any scrapes or any cut abrasions. Make sure you take them to the nurses, get it cleaned up. And then there's any like running, they're like trying to leave the field. That's when we need to get some medical attention and make sure the camper is safe. And then if there's any tantrums and meltdowns, just go to the nurse's station, and we'll talk more about some ways that maybe we can help with tantrums and meltdowns. So maybe a non-medical concern arises. This is just something to walk through. You guys can pause it and read it over, but really just we know that most of our volunteers are very knowledgeable and equipped with working with people in general. And so if you have a concern, just make a plan. Identify, talk to the camper, hey, what's going on? What's bothering you? Asking the camper some questions, identifying what they need. Hey, they might need to just like walk around the field, or we need to go under a tent and just chill out for a second, or maybe they need to just play catch instead of kicking the ball, or maybe just need to take a breather on the side, or hey, let's go to the nurse's station, ask them for some advice, and they'll send us to maybe the sensory tent or something. So we'll walk through kind of a plan on how you can help them. And again, if you have any concerns, please go to the nurses tent, find one of the lead volunteers, which we will go over in pre-camp huddle who those people are that can help assist you. So like we talked about, there will be a sensory station tent there. And so this tent really is meant to serve you and the campers that might have some sensory concerns. This is sometimes a lot for campers to be going from station to station and different activities, and it might be beneficial for them to get a break and relax for a minute, get some sensory toys, or just be able to be in a little bit of a calmer environment for a moment. And so that is provided by one of our community partners, Sensory Escape. And so there will be a tent available for that if your camper might need that. Speaking of community partners, we are so thankful for all of our volunteers that are watching this video now, and also our community businesses and partners that have really made this camp possible. We can't do this camp without our community partners, without our volunteers. And so we just want to give a shout out to those maybe outside watching this video that have played a big part in making this camp possible. If you have questions, these are the two camp staff members that this year would be best to contact, Rico Bell or Tori Bell, and you can see the emails there below. And then up next, we're going to transition to Tristan, who is the founding father of All Abilities Camp. It started in Akron, Ohio, and it is now a global ministry. And so it's really cool to hear from him and him being able to lead the second part of the training to kind of walk through some specific disabilities, as you won't really know what specific needs your camper has until the day of camp. I think this is really helpful for us to just take 15-20 minutes to walk through this training of different needs that campers might have and how we can best assist them and care for them and love them, and you to feel really equipped. And so this next training, we're going to transition to Tristan, and he will walk us through that. Again, we are so thankful for your support, for being here. This camp cannot be possible without our volunteers. And please reach out with any questions.